Well, hey, I want to start with a little bit about my testimony and kind of what God has done to bring me here and to write Start Here, which actually Start Here is the name of the seminar because it's based on my second book, Start Here, that's coming out this spring. And in a perfect world, I would have had the book here and been like, yay, it's for sale, but it's caught up in the editing phase right now. So actually, before I forget, underneath some of the seats, and you can pass these down the row, if you want to have a special winter conference promo discount code, when my book comes out, I'll send you a quick email. So if you would like, you don't have to decide now, but if you want it, you can do it that way. But anyway, I didn't grow up in a Christian home. I mean, we went to church sporadically. Sometimes my mom did teach me how to say the Lord's Prayer when I was young. But my parents divorced when I was in the 3rd grade, and I ended up living with my dad and my stepmom throughout junior high and high school. And so my sophomore year of high school, I was sent to alternative school for 5 weeks. Y'all know what A school is? See, didn't I just blow some of y'all's buttons? I mean, didn't you have me kind of pegged for somebody else maybe? But alternative school is when you really get in trouble at school and they won't let you come to regular school anymore. And so I had just gotten involved with the wrong crowd and gotten in a lot of trouble. And so unfortunately, alternative school made me really cool among my crazy bad friends. And so it didn't really do anything to deter more bad behavior. It kind of elevated it, unfortunately. But my junior year, my dad moved our entire family out of the small little East Texas town we were in to Houston. And we moved into a neighborhood, and the neighborhood, our neighbors 2 doors down, their kids invited me to their church. Now, I didn't have anything against God, so I was open to going, especially we'd moved during the summer, so I had no friends. And I went one time with them, and the only reason I went back, well, there was 2 reasons, donuts and cute guys. I mean, I would wake up on Sunday morning, and I would think there's going to be warm glazed donuts and cute guys. And I kept going. That was the only reason. And those people were so nice, and all these families would get together and they'd all go to like the Luby's or something after church, and I would kind of tag along, and somebody, I guess, would pay for me. I don't even know, they probably took turns paying for the random girl that's showing up with the youth group. But anyway, in October of that year, I'd started high school in Houston, this massive 6A school. I'd come from this little 3A, and struggling to find my way, kind of get back involved in the wrong crowd again. So now I'm living this double life, although I didn't really see a problem with it. Like, I had my school friends and then my glazed donut cute guy church friends. And I just kind of operated in those 2 worlds pretty seamlessly, actually. Until my youth director, who had just graduated from SFA, asked me to stay after church. He wanted to talk to me. Now, I thought he was going to get on to me for passing notes in church because that's all I did. Because church was just something to get through. I wanted to know where we were all going after that. So it was like, are we going to Burger King? Are we going to Burger King? We're going to Jason Deli? You know, I mean, it was just all about what we were going to do. And so I'd kind of made up my mind that if this man was going to get on to me, like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not going to deal with that. And instead, that night, after all my friends went off to Burger King, I'm sitting there talking to Skylar, my youth director. He explains the love of God to me. For the first time, I understood very clearly that God loved me and had a plan for my life. So my parents had met at Oklahoma University, had me when they were in college. My mom did later on go back and get her degree. My dad never did. And so he said, Lori, you're not just a coincidence. You're not just something that happened on the OU campus. God has a plan for your life. But because of sin in your life, you were separated from that love and that plan that God has for you. And you didn't have to convince me that I was a sinner. I knew that. I mean, I didn't feel like I was that bad. I mean, I wasn't doing like drugs and smoking like some of my other friends were doing, you know. But I was getting myself into a fair amount of trouble. But I would still consider myself a good girl if I compared myself to other people. But I knew I was still denying my conscience because a lot of my prayers were, God, get me out of this. So I knew I had sin in my life. He didn't have to convince me of that. But then he also said that Jesus Christ had died for all of those sins. All of those things that I had done, whether I felt bad for them or not, Jesus had paid the penalty, the punishment, when he died on the cross in my place. Now, some of this actually made sense to me. Because like I said, my mom took us to church a few times growing up. She taught us to say the Lord's Prayer. I knew I wasn't Buddhist, so I had some Christian God conscience to me. And he said, Lori, it's not enough just to think that's a good idea, what God did for you, but you have to put your faith in Jesus Christ. Like, you have to decide for yourself that you are going to put your faith in Jesus. And at 16 years old, my junior year of high school, I got down on my knees in that empty church, and I asked Jesus to forgive me of my sins and to come into my life and to make Lori the person he had meant for me to be. Now, where would I go from there? And that's kind of what the seminar is about. Where there? I mean, what's that youth director going to teach me first? You know? I mean, I was kind of a little bit of a clean slate. I'm a brand new Christian in this man's youth group. Where's it going to start? And some of you might be facing that today. Maybe you have a friend that's just put their faith in Christ, somebody that you've been sharing the gospel with that has recently put their faith in Christ, or maybe you are that person. You have put your faith in Christ, and you're wanting to make sure that there's no stone unturned, that you are building a solid foundation in the Lord. And that's what Start Here is about. We're going to discuss today the 6 foundational truths or lessons that you need to make sure that you nail down for yourself, and especially if you're discipling, mentoring, or teaching another person. Okay? And so this talk was really with all 3 of those people in mind: the discipler, the person that might be a new Christian, or perhaps somebody that's grown up in church, but you're just wanting to make sure that all your bases are covered. And so I'm thrilled that you're here.